SimPOW stands for the Simulation Alliance of Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia, a loose alliance of healthcare simulation professionals that provides a forum and network for healthcare educators to enhance the curricula through simulation. This educational session was recorded at the SimPOW Gathering, which took place on November 16, 2018 at Pocket Nurse, a company whose vision is to improve educational experiences and outcomes by providing simulation and medical supply solutions.
A little bit about career in tech. It's not slow tech anymore. It's not a dumping ground. The students that are coming to the Career and Technology Center are truly tried and tested if they're coming in for healthcare. And many of you come from university settings, other schools of nursing. I will tell you, you need students. A great place to start looking is your health career or health occupations programs at your Career and Technology Center. Simulation for us is not technical. I saw a flyer for Pocket Nurses doing virtual reality and I thought, wow, technical is still I'm in awe of a lot of things. We are bare bone basics, and I liked when Dana started to talk because I was thinking, well, we do that, and we do that. We've always used live people, and our students are tested for both our NOCTI exam, and I'll explain, and their state test on live people. Mannequins are only used for pericare. Otherwise, it's all live simulation, and it does involve training, and it's just something that I did, and until I heard Dana speak, I didn't realize I was cutting edge. So I feel pretty proud of myself today. But we are basics. We do the foundation skills. We are a high school. And nobody wants to pay higher taxes. Nobody wants to give the schools for public education. So money to buy a simulated mannequin that can breathe and talk is never in the budget. We'll talk about some of the challenges we face, but we always look for low-cost ways. And just some of the ideas I got, I was brainstorming back there as she was talking, some different things that we can be doing. And I think that's a great way for this group, and I'm honored again to be part of it. Our Career and Tech Center, our hashtag lately is eliminating the skills gap. We just don't want students, we teach them how to do blood pressures, how to give a bath. I take the students out to clinical, they learn how to basics of care planning. But we also want them to do that customer service component and have those leadership skills. So over the course of the time that I've been at the Beaver County CTC, we've really tried to look for ways to get them those personal skills. It's just not about, can I touch the mannequin and do this skill with all those steps met. It's also, how do I interact with the client? The whole Maya Angelou's phrase, it's not about what they did, it's how they made me feel. You really need to have that as part of your education component. So this is a little bit about me. Where did I get my start? Again, started at the Parkway West CTC. I worked as a nurse aide while I went on scholarship to Duquesne University. And from there, I did a lot of different nursing jobs like all of us. We go from place to place and thing to thing. I started at the CTC as a temporary job while I received my master's degree. 26 years and 2 master's degrees later, there we are. 26 years and 2 master's degrees later, I'm still at the Beaver County CTC. Talked with Anthony today and I said, I'm down to until I find my next career. I'm almost at that 30 and gone, but I'm not forgotten. I'll definitely do something part-time or work and do some different things. The other pictures up there. But when I went back to school, my degrees, number one, I have my master's in nursing education is from Robert Morris. So I was really excited to see them today. So, but my other master's is in educational administration and curriculum development. So I wanted to be a very strong part of what our students learn building-wide at our Career Center. They need to have those skills that when they're presented with a real-life scenario, how can they walk through it or roll through it and have the experience to be able to, and we do a lot of role play, and that's going to be the thing. If you look up, and it's kind of dark, but the top picture shows part of our classroom. That classroom is, we have beds, we have 9 beds. I service 60 students. Beaver County Career Center services 15 different sending districts. This morning when the 2 hours delay started, I started with the Aliquippa, Ambridge, Beaver Falls, Blackhawk. I started to do the count because once they get to so many, my kids are canceled for the day. So we had a 50-50 split today. But you'll notice, and I'm not sure if you can see it, there are paper dolls hanging down. And one of the things we do is teach directional terminology and all the body systems using a cutout of the student themselves. The third week of school, or the third day of school, we go out in the hallway and cut each other out on paper, and they label that throughout the year, and it's their paper doll, and they take it with them. And it's a cheap way to learn that directional terminology. And that actually came from a 6th grade hands-on anatomy book. But that basics, when our students leave us and go on, they call me and say, I had my first anatomy test today, I had my first directional term test, I was the only one in the class to get 100. I still have my paper doll hanging in my room, you know, that kind of stuff. And the one girl actually was tutoring a friend, had her make one in the hallway at one of the local schools. She said, because it's the only way you learn. I learn when I can feel it, see it, touch it, and that was the best way for me. The lower picture is one of our students. We have male and female students. My grade range or age range is from 15 to 18. High school seniors are with me half day. But we're unique, and we are the only school in the state that does full day clinicals. Our students are actually excused from their sending district and go out to clinical. We have 2 nursing homes that we work with, and they actually go there for full days. We also utilize Saturdays because we want to make sure that they get all of their hours and not miss a lot of academics. We get the pushback from the high schools that they're missing too many gym classes because they're at clinical. So we had to make a compromise somewhere. A little bit about how I got involved with Pocket Nurse, and I'll brag about Anthony for a minute. My 3rd month maybe they're teaching, Anthony delivered, I had no equipment in my room. I had no clinical sites, I had nothing. He delivered equipment in the trunk of his car. So to see him come from that to this, I'm very proud of him as well. So I had to throw that plug. That was just like a few years ago. We won't say how old we are. A little bit about what is health occupations, and the other career and tech instructors in the room could probably talk with this too. These are all the different things we do. People think they just stop in and hang out half a day and they're not really doing anything. The foundation of my course is the Pennsylvania Nurse Aid Competency Program, Evaluation Program. Many of you will see it as CNAs, nurse aides, and that's our foundation. I'll talk about how that works. But that was a federal law called OBRA 1993 that required education for nurse aides, not only in the state of Pennsylvania, but nationwide. Who oversees that program in Pennsylvania, and I'm sorry, I didn't realize Ohio and West Virginia were part of the POW, or I would have looked this up for you guys. But in Pennsylvania, the Department of Education oversees us, and they demand the curriculum that we teach. The other things that we teach as part of our health occupations program, students are committed to us for 2 years. They get anatomy and physiology, they get medical terminology, they get math for health careers, and we use a lot of the placement tests at the local colleges. I actually have a copy of like a Robert Morris study sheet. I have one at the community college, and we use those as the basis for this is the math that you need. Because many times guidance counselors at the sending school districts don't realize what our students need. Oh, you're going to tech, you'll be fine. And they don't prepare them necessarily for going on to nursing school and passing a standardized math test. We also do CPR AED for the healthcare provider. We do bloodborne pathogen and first aid certification. One of the things we're starting this year with all the, unfortunately with our society right now, public shootings, different events in schools, we have started the Stop the Bleed certification. We're doing it for just the health occupation students this year. My goal is that we do it school-wide for the students next year, because I think it's important. Our school teaches industry, heating and air, automotive, we have electrical, we have masonry, we have food service, we have a warehousing program, we have cosmetology, we have business. Those students are going to go out and work in industry. I think it's important that they have those basic skills. So the push is on for that for next year. We're looking for grant money, so hopefully that'll come through. We also have partnerships with clinical sites, local community college, our community college of Beaver County. Talk about our partnership there. But our students do go out to 80 hours of clinical. They also get an additional 25 hours, something called community-based learning. That's when a first-year student goes out and volunteers. And my success story with that this week is one of my students went out to a local nursing home, and there was a resident way in the back of the hallway. Her job is to go around and just fill water pitchers and talk to the residents and have that interaction. She walked back and there was a lady choking on her dinner, and she saved her life. So that was huge. So Brianna got marked up. She got some Cairns cash, which is extra time on homework. But we also, had she not been there, what could have happened? And the fact that she had that basic training of CPR and first aid prior to going was a huge thing. So I was pretty proud of that. We also have two things outside of the school that we bring in. One of the big things we do is called UPMC e-mentoring program. And that's through Smart Futures. And if anybody needs the info, I have my cards, I can hook you up with David Garnes. What UPMC does for our students, this is our 5th year, and we were his trial group, and we thought, oh, we'll see if it works. I thought, how much time is this going to take? First year you try anything, you think, what am I doing? But I found it's 10 units that students log into, and they are assigned an e-mentor who is a professional at UPMC. That professional at UPMC is trained and guides them through career development. Where do you want to go to school? Why do you want to go to school for that? What school are you looking at? Where are you picking? Where don't you want to go? What have you looked at in scholarships? And the students guide through this over a 3-4 month period. They're given a certificate at the end, so it's a great resume item, but they also have the voice of somebody other than me. They have somebody fresh that's in the industry that can talk them through. I'm really proud of this program in that it was seen as a best practice at the state level, but I had one girl that we got through, and she was, and I'll mention it, WVU, it's where she wanted to go. Her room is decorated in the colors. That's where she was going. Blinders on for anywhere else in the world. She knew when she was little, that's where she was going. She apparently did not, she did. She did not share that though with mom. So when it came down to the month of April, a little late, as a senior, she went to mom and said, I need you to sign these forms. I need financial, commitment from my parent. Her mom said, no way, not going there. Figure it out on your own. She came in devastated. And I was like, it was one of those days that everything was going on. So I was thinking, I said, how about this? We'll talk towards the end of class, log in, talk to your e-mentor, and just, see if they have ideas, and then we'll brainstorm together and come up with a plan. So she logged in and apparently really vented to her mentor. The mentor's sister works in Shadyside School of Nursing for UPMC. She got her an interview that late, got her testing that Saturday. She got admitted to the program. They took a liking to her because of the relationship with this mentor, and she ended up with a full scholarship. Jaylise McCracken is now Jaylise McCracken RN, and she is at Duquesne University online for her bachelor's degree for nursing. So just one kid, we saved one. It was worth it. So the work, but it's such an opportunity for the students to reach outside of the classroom and see about other things. They were talking about movies. We're getting into education about the reproductive system, and one of the movies we show is Philadelphia. And we talk about the history of HIV and AIDS and how far we've come as a society and in medicine. And one of the students mentioned it to her mentor. She sent 3 other movies she could watch that would also be helpful for my classroom. So it's a nice networking thing for me. I never leave the room. I can oversee it, and it's a great opportunity for the students. Something else we do on a grant, we are a Xhosa school, which I'll talk about, but the grant is actually for STEM Premier. STEM Premier is for high school students. All of these things, by the way, for Xhosa and UPMC, they have collegiate, they have post-secondary opportunities as well. So it's just not the Career and Tech Center that can use these things. They have opportunities for all of you. But STEM Premier is sort of like LinkedIn, or kind of Facebook does LinkedIn for high school students, to create a professional portfolio of all the great work that our students do. When my students leave me, they leave with a professional portfolio for employers and schools to take a look at all of the things that they've done. All of these things are listed there, but they also have that online portfolio. STEM Premier is also one of our links for scholarship money. Students can apply to schools of nursing through STEM Premier. So if any of you want to hook up that way so you can be, so they feed into you and you're close to us, that would be a great resource for you as well. So what is nurse aid training? And I wanted to just spend a few minutes on this because it's important to understand how this works. Many states now require nurse aides prior to nursing 1. And I'm currently in a study with Harriet Knowles out of Ball State to see students who have nurse aid and go into a bachelor's program versus students who don't. We're only 2 years in, but we're finding that the students that did, obviously, they've walked the walk, they know the terminology, they've had clinical experience, they've had to show up with all their stuff for clinical, they've had to look up definitions, terminology. They seem to be faring a little higher, even when it gets to the NCLEX. So that's kind of where we're looking now. Are they better? It's not that they're necessarily prepared for NCLEX, but they're more mentally prepared for the rigors that are nursing school. So that's one of the reasons that I believe in the nurse aid program. Now, saying that, it is a national, but the Department of Education comes out and they do on-site reviews biannually, which means they literally come out and look at every file, every folder, every lesson I teach, every set of hours. Do you guys do the?
This is my second year teaching, and I'm just now getting prepared for it in the spring.
Well, we'll talk. I've gone through in 26 years, I've done about 14 on-site visits. They never get easier. They're paid to find something. Last time, 2 years ago, I'm due in January, but last time they went through, and I counted because I'm crazy, 4,500 pieces of paper. They found 5 that didn't have check mark boxes, and I got cited for that. So it's that rigorous of an on-site review. So it's tough, but it's doable, and I believe in it because my students are out working, and I'll talk about our success rate a little bit later. But you can see some of our students not only doing the skills in class, but we have those clinical sites. And again, like I said, these students are tried and tested, and they're ready for employment, and they're ready for going on to school for nursing. A lot of our students come back and say, thank you, having clinical the way we did, having to do lesson plans, having to look up diagnoses, made me that much more prepared. As far as Xhosa, Future Health Professionals, it is a student organization that is considered curricular. And had I discovered Xhosa when I first started, I probably would have been a much happier teacher back then when I had nothing in the drawers and no equipment. But Xhosa is curricular in that every competition area in Xhosa Future Health Professionals, students go to a state leadership conference where they compete for scholarship money and a place on the state team, but then they leave there and they go to internationals. At state competition, there's around 1,000, 1,100 students from across Pennsylvania. Internationals, there are 10,000 students. Last year, we had a snow issue. When we were supposed to have Xhosa, we were supposed to travel. We had to submit all of our competition material virtually. We had to video everybody's skills, scenarios, the whole bit. But they had to use real clients, so a lot of this standardized patients. But our students are given a scenario, it's critical thinking, and then it's applying it, and they're evaluated on how well they apply the knowledge they've learned in the classroom. Not only these leadership conferences, but the scholarship money, the state level gives away $150,000 a year. The national level, we are in Disney, it was $980,000 worth of scholarship money was given to these students. So it's impressive, it's an opportunity for them, and those again are awarded secondary as well. Xhosa does service projects, so the students have to think outside of themselves. This year the topic is pediatric cancer. We're currently selling beef sticks, and we do dress down days for those. And we have the Barbara Jane Service Award. The story I told of going to the clinic, my students do the same thing now. They're getting practical experience learning, but they're also earning those service hours. A lot of colleges are looking at, are you a well-rounded individual? Some of our kids have never been a cheerleader. They've never been on the debate team. They've never had those opportunities in school, so we give them this opportunity to go out and network and meet folks and give back. STEM Premier is from a grant from Xhosa. And then we have the scholarships as well. It's a student said to us, when we get to nursing school, that's our hardest part is care plans. And so what we did was, students were coming to me going, oh, I'd say at the end of the shift, what percentage did your client eat for breakfast? Oh, they didn't eat breakfast. Okay, what percentage did they eat for lunch? Well, they didn't eat lunch either, and I'm looking at, diabetes mellitus. And I look at the meds and it's insulin, and I'm like, uh-oh, we got a problem. So one of the things they have to do now is not only know what their person has, but what is it the nurse aide should be looking for with that client. And that gives them not only the what, but the why. And I know when I went to nursing school, and I went to Duquesne, but I was a nurse aide, I didn't know the why. They would tell me, do this way, and I'd say, but why? And I would get well, because I said so. Well, give me a little more than that. Like, let me understand why I'm worried that my clients skip breakfast and lunch. So what? She's laying in bed, she probably doesn't have an appetite. Who cares? She's old, she didn't eat. Who cares? Well, there's a big component to that. Or, if the client is suddenly, you have them for a few days in a row and they have a change in status, mental status. They knew who you were on Monday. Hey, Theresa, it's great to see you. I'm glad I have you as my nurse aide this week. And come Thursday, they're drooling and not responding. And you go out to the nurse and say, they changed a little bit since Monday. Oh, I don't know, today's my first day on the shift. Well, yeah, Monday they were talking to me, today they're not responding. And having those critical thinking skills, getting in those rooms, is huge for our student success out in the field. And even just look at my Brianna, who saved the lady last week. I mean, that's huge. Going back and recognizing she was choking, pulling the call bell, saying, hey, I need you, and helping her, performing the Heimlich and helping her, that's a huge deal for a 17-year-old kid. So, any other questions? But I'll give you my card, you can just email me too. Thank you. Yes?
Theresa, is the curriculum standardized from Career Tech Center to Career Tech
It is, and that's a very good point. You kind of have, there's 333 Market Street in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and I'll try not to be political or angry. Here's what I'll tell you. The fourth floor controls all the career and tech ed programs, and they give us a standardized curriculum. But if we are a nurse aide training program, we sort of have, it's kind of like a lot of icing on top of that cupcake. They've made this the regular generic standardized curriculum. They've taken all the morning care skills and they made it one task. Where on my nurse aide program task list, it's like 57 tasks. Like everyone is signed up separately. For example, mouth care. All it says is perform morning care on the standard one. On the nurse aide training, there's conscious mouth care, unconscious mouth care, denture care, edentulous care. So there's 4 different skills that they don't even mention on that standard. So we do have standard, but that nurse aide training program credentialing is tough to get and tough to keep. We sweat those on-site reviews, but they are so worth it for the students. So, but thank you, that's a good question. Any other questions, comments? But thank you guys for your time, and I hope, like I said, I was thinking, I jumped into the deep end of the pool. I looked where everybody was from, and I thought, this may not be good, but I really think it's important for you to look to the career and tech centers for maybe your next student or future students or feeders, and know that they are really getting a quality education there. It's just not a waste of time or a dumping ground, because we have RNs there. You have to be an RN, you have to have 5 years experience, you have to have trained and trainer. I went back to school. I was going to do administration for nursing ed or for career and tech ed, and I decided I didn't want to be with the bad kids in the office. I wanted to stay in the classroom and go out and do the clinical with the students. So that's where I've stayed and what I enjoy doing. So, but thank you guys for your time. Thank you.
For more from SimPOW and other Pocket Nurse educational sessions, please subscribe to our YouTube page and subscribe to our blog at simtalkblog.com.